Hey everybody, Baldoric here. Today we're going to be talking about Sophia, in particular because she just got a Resplendent alteration, or whatever you want to call it. So she's got her new Resplendent attire, and a lot more people are going to be having her at 5 stars, so I thought it'd be a good idea to actually talk about a couple ways you can build her today. I know I haven't made any videos in a little while. I've been trying to do a little bit better on that, but with everything going on in the world, haven't had a whole lot of time. But today I wanted to sit down and talk about Sophia and actually go into her, why I think she's actually a pretty solid unit, and some different ways you can build her. First and foremost, like we normally do, let's talk about her weapon refine first. She has the Eternal Tome, which gives her weapon triangle advantage against colorless foes, and it inflicts weapon triangle disadvantage against colorless foes as well, which is really great. If the foe initiates combat, she gains defense res +4 during combat, meaning on enemy phase she's a little bit tankier. So baseline level 40 stats, she's got defense 30 and res 31, both pretty respectable. This is neutral, of course. But let's go into one of her max budget builds and why I think this is a good way to build her. So, you'll notice right off the bat, I have an HP refine. So let's talk about why the heck I did that. So it's Aether Raids, obviously. She is light season right now with blessings from Ear and Peony. The reason I chose the HP refine is because right now, Panic Manners go up to 65 HP. So if you give her the HP, whatever it is, boon, she actually bypasses it by 1, which is really great. Neutral, she hits 64 HP, and with anything else, she has 63 HP. So realistically, the only way you are going to be able to get past those Panic Manners is with the HP refine. You do not need to do this. If you want to put it in something like attack, defense, or res, all totally fine. I would ignore speed. It's not important for her. In fact, I would even choose... I have Vantage, like the close counter Vantage for like the obvious reasons in Aether Raids, but if you did something like Quick Riposte here with a different build, that could totally work as well. But let's go over this build real quick and just talk about what can happen that makes it really good. First of all, as soon as she gets into range for Vantage, not only does she get, if she's being attacked, defense res +4, she's also getting the brazen attack res, adding on to those stats, making her res extremely high, getting her attack stat up to a little bit more respectable number in the 60s. And if Iceberg is proccing, that's going to be 50% of her res. So let's see, we get +4 from the Eternal Tome, that puts it up to 48. +7, yeah, it's +7, right? Or is it +6? Whatever it is. Let's say it's +7 from the brazen attack and res, pushes it up to, what is that? 55, if I'm right. If it's 7, it's 55. If it's 6, it's 54. Either way, extremely high defense. Half of that is still going to be an enormous number to be added on to her already high attack. She's going to be getting some big hits off with close counter Vantage. You're pretty much going to be killing everything with the attack smoke. Everything's going to be doing less on her, making her honestly an amazing tank, and also dealing a ton of really good damage. And depending on who you have as either her support partner or different allies on your team, she can be really buffed, really strong, and honestly, not a whole lot's going to get in her way. So you can see just at this build, with max invest, she is really good, really tanky, a very strong unit. Can fill multiple roles. This is just one that I chose because it's very common in Aether Raids to do a close counter or distant counter Vantage sweeper, and I honestly see a lot of viability in a build like this. So let's move on from this one. So I took away blessings and I took away summoner support and all that stuff. This is a build that I made specifically because it is extremely tanky. So let's go over exactly how many stats she can get. Okay, so you have 2 defense res bonds, so you're going to be getting, +12 from that. So you got her Eternal Tome going off, adding another 4, so that's +16. And then Defense Res Oath, as long as you have that going off, that's +21. So that means she's going to be at 61 resistance, and she is going to be at 57 defense. That's huge. And if you think about the 61 resistance, that means she's going to be getting roughly an additional 30 damage from her iceberg, which is incredible. You're doing like, just looking at her attack, that's 85 attack basically going in. Well, it's not really that, but it's, you know, that's a huge number to be throwing into with a special. It's definitely going to secure kills. And with Quick Riposte, she is going to be able to hit more than once on enemy phase, which is really good. With the correct partners, her attack stat can get even higher, and or she'll have more survivability depending on what other buffs you have. If there's any other res buffs coming in, that's going to help with Iceberg. Really, really, really tanky unit. Definitely really good in PvE. Probably will have some viability in arenas if you just need that like heavy mage tanker that can just take hits for your team, and you can like, you know, either weaken or kill opponents so you can get some kills with the bonus ally. Definitely really good, and also definitely really good in situations like Grand Conquest or things like that where you need a unit that can just take hits, survive, and all that stuff. The problem is she needs to be next to someone. So if you're doing anything AI related, like you're doing auto battles or things like that, that's where a build like this kind of fails. You want to switch things up a little bit. But if you're going to be controlling her at all, I think this is a really solid build to keep her alive, deal tons of damage, and all that stuff. So always keep in mind, though, that for something like this, you need to be playing, because if you auto battle, more times than not, she's not going to be next to somebody. And you can switch this up. You don't have to go defense res bond. This is easily switchable with like attack res bond or something like that if you want to go for the extra attack. Lots of ways you can modify this. I just chose this one because I thought it was crazy that you can get up to like 61 res just by being next to somebody. I think that's really cool. So, interesting way you can build her. I think it's different, it's fun, and it could definitely work in certain modes. Lastly, the budget build. So let's say you got her at 5 stars and you're wondering, okay, what do I want to do with her? Now I gave her the, I actually forgot to give her a negative boon here because I was going to do +1 because I was thinking of +1ing her. But, so disregard that, I guess. She would be +1 here, but the reason I chose to build like this, Fury 3, always a good budget A slot because it's going to give extra stats. Yes, she does take the damage each turn. It's negligible, not a problem. Attack res bond, again, interchangeable, doesn't need to be this. You can even switch it out so that maybe she has a different B slot and then quick riposte is in the S slot. Whatever you want to do. The res smoke could also be attack smoke. I chose res smoke because it's going to be a little bit easier for her to kill anything that's attacking her. And if you are not planning on using this for Aether Raids, I don't think you need the attack smoke as much as the res smoke, because this will just help her a little bit more with killing, depending on what you want to do. Res smoke is obtainable now through the Heroic Grail system, so it's easily obtainable. But the rest of this is still pretty simple, and I chose Iceberg across the board on all these builds. You could change this for Glacius, you could change this for like Glimmer, any of those moves are totally fine. I just like building off of what she's strong, which is her resistance. Because if she does get the res bond and her Eternal Tome, she's getting +10 res, which is going to be putting her at a total of 44, which means she gets 22 additional damage when that Iceberg procs, and it's only at 3, which is pretty good. And with something like an Infantry Pulse or even like a Hector on the team, 2-charge Iceberg is going to be really strong. I also considered building a special Spiral build for her, which could definitely be strong. Not with Iceberg, but with something like Glimmer or Moonbow. But I decided to go for something like this with the budget build. Well, actually, I mean, for the second build was that the defense res bond build, not this one. But I decided that it's still a little bit too invested and not as viable as something like that. And for the budget build here, this is definitely something that will be strong. It doesn't really let her shine, but it does put her in a more of a I'm a strong mage role that will take hits, live, and still be able to perform well on your team. You are going to want to +1 her to make sure that you at least get rid of that negative stat. If you can't, try to have that negative stat be speed, Obviously, you're getting a free 5-star of her, which is neutral IVs. You could use that one too. That's totally fine. But if you have one with either an attack boon or a res boon, I'd probably start with those. If you want to do the HP for the Aether Raid builds I was talking about, it's honestly not necessary unless you are like getting to the point where you're gonna pass 65 HP. Because other than that, it doesn't really matter. I would stick with attack or res. Okay. So, anyways, those are my builds. I hope you like them. If you have any ideas or different builds that you want to share, put them down in the comments below. I'd love to see them. If you like more content like this, please think about subscribing. I'm going to be trying to put out a lot more content about Fire Emblem Heroes. I have been getting a little bit into Pokemon, the TCG, and all that stuff, and I might be posting content regarding that. If you want to follow my social media, you can check, if you click on my channel, they're all there, my Twitter and my Twitch, which I do hope to stream again soon. It is a little bit tough right now in the world, so we'll see if I get time to do that. I got things going on at home, so we shall see. But hope you like this video, and I hope I see you next time.